Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be discussing the topic of hypothesis testing on two samples. And this is quite a different steps on the hypothesis testing with only one sample at hand. The main difference between the two is that we will be considering two samples, and with that the formula for the z and t value that we will be calculating will also change. For the z, x bar 1 minus x bar 2 minus mu1 minus mu2 divided by the square root of sigma squared 1 over n1 plus sigma squared 2 over n2. Take note that the sigma here are the variances of samples 1 and 2. And of course, these are all assumed to have a standard normal distribution. Now, if we assume that sigma 1 is equivalent to sigma 2, which is denoted by sigma, the formula will be simplified into z is equal to x bar 1 minus x bar 2 minus quantity mu1 minus mu2 over sigma square root of 1 over n1 plus 1 over n2. And these are used in test procedures involving two means. As you can see, the x bars right here are the mean of the samples, while here are the population means. Now, the two-sided hypothesis can be written generally as HO, or our null hypothesis, as mu1 minus mu2 is equivalent to DO. Now, this particular statement will differ with regards to how the problem is constructed. So later in the examples, we'll be tackling different types of construction of HO and H1. But basically, this is how we do it. We take the difference between the two population mean and we get a value denoted by DO. We can have either one-tailed or two-tailed test, and both have different solutions and process. Now, if we have a two-tailed critical region, in the case of two-sided alternative, we have a graph, something like this, and then we have a shaded part on the left side and on the right side. If the value falls within the shaded area, then we have to reject the HO. But if the values that we have calculated falls within this unshaded area, now we need to accept HO. Now, assuming that both distributions are normal and that the variances are both equal, the pooled t-test, or commonly known as two-sample t-test, can also be used. We will be rejecting the HO at significant level alpha when the computed t-statistic, or the t-value, denoted by this formula, exceeds t alpha over 2 n1 plus n2 minus 2. This or is less than the negative t alpha over 2 n1 plus n2 minus 2. So this is basically the same as a two-tailed test on the z-value. For the first example, an experiment was performed to compare the abrasive wear of two different laminated materials. 12 pieces of material 1 were tested by exposing each piece to a machine measuring wear. 10 pieces of material 2 were similarly tested. So take note that 12 pieces for material 1 and we have 10 pieces for material 2. In each case, the depth of wear was observed. The samples of material 1 gave an average wear of 85 units with a sample standard deviation of 4, while the samples of material 2 gave an average of 81 with a sample standard deviation of 5. So take note of all of those values, and we will be using that one to solve for the t value later. So why do we need to use t? Because the difference between the z-test and the t-test is on the number of samples. So basically, if we have a larger samples, probably greater than 30, then it is more ideal to use the z-test. If the samples are less than 30, then it is ideal to use the t-test. So in this case, we have a total of 12 and 10 pieces, so that is 22. That is why we will be using the t-test. So we will be using 0.05 level of significance that the abrasive wear of material 1 exceeds that of material 2 by more than 2 units. So take note of this statement. It says that the abrasive wear of material 1, which is mu1, exceeds the material 2 by more than 2 units. So this should be mu1 is equivalent to mu2 plus 2. And if we convert this into an alternative hypothesis, it will be something like this, greater than mu2 plus 2. And if we convert this into the standard form, mu1 minus mu2 is greater than 2. So our HO is that mu1 minus mu2 is equivalent to 2, while our H1 is mu1 minus mu2 is greater than 2. Our level of significance is 0.05. Now it's time to get the value of t using the alpha of 0.05. Here at 0.05 alpha, and then let's solve the DOF, which is equivalent to 12 plus 10 minus 2, and this is equivalent to 20. So let's take a look at this row here and the column of 0.05. Then we have 1.725 as a value of our t. So that's it. With alpha of 0.05 and v of 20, our t is 1.725. So we need to identify the critical region, and since the alternative hypothesis says that mu1 minus mu2 is greater than 2, then our critical region is here, 1.725. So actually, this left side here is not needed since this is just a one-tailed test. If the t value that we will be calculating falls within this shaded area, then we have to reject the HO. The next one is to compute for our t value given all of these values from the problem. Solving first the S sub p, that is equivalent to 4.478, and then solving for t, we have 1.04. Going back to the curve, 1.04 lies somewhere here, which is to the left of the shaded area, and in that case we have to accept the HO, that mu1 minus mu2 is equivalent to 2. But the testing does not end right there. We can also prove further by taking the p value. And how are we going to do that? Let's take a look at the t value, which is 1.04, and look for it in the table. So 1.04 at v is equal to 20 is somewhere here. It is between 0.860 and 1.064. So to get the value of alpha, or the p, with t is 1.04, we need to use the interpolation formula. P is equivalent to P1 plus P2 minus P1 over T2 minus T1 multiplied by T minus T1. Again, this is the P1, this is P2, this is T1, and this is T2. So our P here is 0.2 plus 0.15 minus 0.2 over 1.064 minus 0.86 multiplied by 1.04 minus 0.86. Our P is 0.155882 or approximately equivalent to 0.16. So right here, the P is 0.16, and if we compare this to the alpha of 0.05 and we graph it right here, so if this is the alpha of 0.05, 0.16 is somewhere here, which is to the left of the shaded area. And with that, we can accept the HO that we are unable to conclude that abrasive wear of material 1 exceeds that of material 2 by more than 2 units. For the next example, a manufacturer claims that the average tensile strength of thread A exceeds the average tensile strength of thread B by at least 12 kilograms. To test this claim, 50 pieces of each type of thread were tested under similar conditions. Type A thread had an average tensile strength of 86.7 kilograms with a standard deviation of 6.25 kilograms, while type B thread had an average tensile strength of 77.8 kilograms with a standard deviation of 5.61 kilograms. Test the manufacturer's claim using a 0.05 level of significance. Let's start off with the HO, and that is mu1 minus mu2 is equivalent to 12, while our H1 is mu1 minus mu2 is greater than or equal to 12. And since it uses greater than or equal and not equal, this is a one-tailed test. With a level of significance of 0.05, we have to find the z value that corresponds to this level of significance. So graphing the normal distribution curve, this is the graph for 0.05 level of significance. Now going to the table, and we know that in the table A.3, which is areas under the curve, the areas on the table refers to the area left of the z value. In the problem, we are given the area to the right. Therefore, we need to get its complement by subtracting that value from 1. So 1 minus the level of significance 0.05, we get a value of 0.95, and that's the value that we should be looking for in the table. So 0.95, so it is in between 0.9495 and 0.9505. And since 0.95 is directly in between the two, we just have to get the average of this value, 0.04 and 0.05. The z that we are looking for is equivalent to 1.645. And since our hypothesis is stated as mu1 minus mu2 is greater than or equal to a certain value, then we have to put it as z is greater than or equal to 1.645. In the graph, it is somewhere here, 1.645, and this is the shaded region. The next step is to calculate the z using all the values given from the problem. And with that, we receive the value of negative 2.603103. So where does this value fit into the graph of the curve? It is somewhere here, the left side of the origin. And so, what will be our conclusion? Our conclusion is that we have to accept the HO that mu1 minus mu2 is equivalent to 12. But if there are more steps here, we have to calculate the p-value of z greater than or equal to negative 2.60, and it's equivalent to 0.9953. So how did we get that one? We refer back to the table, and now we are on the negative values of z. We'll refer to negative 2.60, which is 0.0047 from the graph. This value, 0.0047, is the value to the left of negative 2.60. And since from the value here that we are looking for the area greater than or equal to negative 2.60, and that is why we just simply subtract 1 with 0.0047 and got a value of 0.9953, which is the area to the right of negative 2.60. Now, in summary, we will be accepting HO with accordance to the calculations that we made, both in z values and p values.